am so hungry. Outnumbered overtime. Oh, gee, baby. And the reason I am is because Andrea is saying that when she actually argues with someone, counter to this new spouse study that came out that said arguing with your spouse can make you fat, that you don't even eat when you're arguing.
Well, if it's a bad argument, if it's someone that you really love, the last thing, I'm like Stacey, the last thing I do is run to the kitchen to start eating. I mean, I'm too upset about it. And then usually I'm like, where's the vodka?
Right?
Well, except that I don't want to break this to you, but what you're drinking can put on pounds too. I mean, alcohol is the worst.
Vodka.
But you're okay if you're not eating and all you're doing is drinking vodka.
Liquid diet.
Pretty skinny.
Do you drink alcohol, Stacey?
Yeah. Vodka.
Okay.
Champagne
Really?
and vodka.
You two look like fun.
And, I'm sorry. I love whiskey. Whiskey is good. Whiskey, a good whiskey, I love.
I like a little Jameson. I'm a hard liquor girl.
I know.
Maybe I shouldn't
about
say that
you.
on,
What's
camera,
that whiskey with a horse on the top of it? I just saw that for the first time. Kentucky bourbon. Yeah.
We have it.
It's great.
My husband keeps the little top with the horse. Do you know they're all different?
Right.
Really? No, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Sandra, what do you reach for?
Wow. Yeah. Right now I'm a rosé wine drinker in the summer.
So do you get hungry when you and John argue?
Do I eat? If I argue?
Like after an argument, do you reach for the snack?
I think there's something to this. I didn't know it was a chemical imbalance, but I thought there was something to it because you throw everything to the wind. Like all of us probably watch what we eat and try to eat healthy. And when you're in the middle of an argument, when you get hungry, you're kind of like, all right, whatever. I'm not eating my fufu salad today or whatever. I thought that was what it was about. But
we know that stress is bad for you, and you just said one of the reasons. Maybe you stop exercising. Maybe you start binging.
Yeah.
Maybe your blood pressure goes up. Maybe your cholesterol goes up. Whatever
Plus,
it is.
in times of stress, I think you're probably working more. You're caring for an infant at home, and you have less time, and therefore you're making unhealthy choices. Anyway, not that I'm personally going through that.
Are you talking about anyone specifically?
Time. I could just use a little bit more time.
Oh, I know. So Bowdle, I think is how you say it, writes on our live chat. I exercise when my wife and I argue, so I'm actually in better shape.
Excellent.
But you know what? When that person exercises, he probably feels better. His blood pressure goes down. I bet his stress level goes down, and then he makes up with his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I like to run when I'm stressed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of people right now are talking about our previous conversation, though, that we had about Hillary Clinton, because that was a shocker. So this was breaking news on the TV version of Us, because people might watch this not live right now, but later in the day. Hillary Clinton's comments, and just at a campaign event that she was giving this afternoon, basically compared Republicans and their views on women. Let me see if I've got the actual bite here. And their views on women, here it is. Extreme views, we expect that from some of the terror groups. We expect that from people who don't live in a modern world. But it's a little hard to take coming from Republicans who want to be president of the United States, specifically their views on women. She took a big punch. Those are some fighting words right there, Doc.
Well, I think that the question comes, what's motivating it? I think that she's, as you said, Harrison, you said this so well. She thinks she's fighting back from something. She's suffering from some wound. We call it a narcissistic wound, actually, in medicine. It's called a narcissistic wound. Wow. She's been wounded. She always feels wounded. This is your word. This is your idea, not mine.
We were talking about
She
this
fights
a little bit.
back, so she's always overly on the defensive. And then we were talking about how when she was first lady, she found out about these affairs.
Well, everybody found out about the affairs.
Right. Yeah. Everybody found
multiple
out
women,
and she was embarrassed publicly, and she stayed with her man. And all this.
I do not believe that Hillary, for the first time, found out that Bill was cheating with Monica Lewinsky. No. There were reports of him cheating for years, that she was the one that targeted these women. I think she was angry that he got caught. But I'm not buying that Hillary Clinton is such a victim behind the scenes. I mean, she's a tiger, and she fancies herself pretty smart. And as a progressive, she believes that she knows better than anybody else. We've seen the way she's pushed around these other women, Bill's accusers, and gone after them. And she's really spearheaded the Clintons' own personal war on women. So I don't really think that she feels like a victim deep down. If she plays one on TV.
So why say something like this? Why call your opponents, particularly with their views on women? Why compare them with the terrorists who are doing those things you said on the TV version of Us?
Because, and what I brought up during the segment, I'd done a quick search, because I know we pulled that sound quickly, to see when the White House over the last couple of years had called Republicans terrorists. Quite a few links came up. I remember September 2013, Dan Pfeiffer did it. President Obama had done it during the government shutdown. Then we saw, as I mentioned early on, the DHS. Remember they put out that memo saying watch for Republicans that may try and do some homegrown acts of terror. Yeah. This is an old play that Democrats have run, and frankly, the last election cycle, it worked. Because remember, they changed the debate from the real issues to that of a war on women, that war over contraception, and it worked. It helped elect President Obama, galvanize women voters. Hillary, as Sandra mentioned, she's doing very poorly with women, and she needs to not just get women back, she needs to change the topic away from the server, and this is, I think, a pretty desperate attempt to do that.
Her pro-choice group, she can get galvanized behind her, and I still say the anti-Trump vote. I mean, people that say Trump's going way too far with women, she could be trying to target them.
She could.
Independents.
It's very possible.
But way too far with women, how is he going to way too far with women? I don't understand that.
Well, in many of his comments,
And which ones? Like what?
Well,
I don't know.
He's called women out publicly, Trump, and
called a lot of people out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pentatonic writes on our live chat, Hillary is reaching deep into the dungeon for whatever munition she can dust off to bring back the tired old narrative, which kind of ties into what you were saying during the TV version of us, Sandra. In polling, she's in trouble.
She's in
some
trouble.
areas.
The Democratic Party is arguably in trouble, and I was thinking about something earlier this morning. I was hosting Mornings with Maria, and so say there was a third party run by Donald Trump. Say if that were to happen. Everybody's talking about how that would be damaging to the Republican Party. What would it do to the the Democratic run?
You'd be looking at President Clinton.
Oh,
Is that a for sure? Do you think that it's because I used this example the other day as
we can't be that
talking
stupid.
to the train conductor and how he said he voted for Obama 2 terms.
Yeah.
He was hoping for the change. He was hoping for better. He said he's middle class. He's sending 2 kids to college. He said not only is he not better off today, he's worse off than he was when he first voted for Obama.
Yeah.
He said I like Donald Trump. I'm just wondering about that vote.
Well, historically, I mean, you look what happened with Ross Perot. I mean, that almost assured a Democratic victory.
Well, he already said he's not going to do
that.
He said he's not going to run a third party. So.
Yeah, he said that yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's off the table.
What about Biden? Is Biden, you think, a serious candidate?
Well, there's actually new polling. We didn't get into it on Outnumbered today, but there is new polling out today that was also featured in The Hill this morning that shows that Biden is pulling ahead of Hillary Clinton and is polling better than her in a lot of instances.
Can I ask you a question about something that came out today, though, just because you are the queen of messaging for this? How does it play that Biden's camp would say something like this today? I'm not sure if my family's ready to run. Is that a trial balloon to see if people will grab and say, no, you have to? Or is he telegraphing out, you know what? I may not do this. I don't know.
I think it's the latter, I would say.
I think it's the latter.
He's getting a lot of earned media without even announcing yet.
I don't
I think it's a way...
that game with his son just dying. And
it's a way to inoculate his family a little bit.
Yeah.
I think from attacks is saying, I don't know if my family's behind this. So
now you see why I call her the queen.
You know what? Let's ease up on the family. They've had, I mean, he's lost his wife.
Horrible.
He lost his daughter, and now we're decades later. He loses another child. It's a way to say, listen, these campaigns are brutal on families.
Yeah. And he knows it.
It's a way for him to not just get some more headlines, and as you point out, Harris, get people to rally behind him and say, no, please do it, but also for a way to say the family might be fragile. Let's not get too nasty.
Can I go back to Hillary for a second per our live chat? By the way, 1,300 people on our live chat.
That's a record.
We've got probably 10 times that many who cannot get on just because of the size of the bandwidth. So that's increased, so jump on now. We got room for you people. The water is warm. Carly Golf 35 says, I agree with Andrea. The incendiary comments against Republicans are a distraction from the email server. And look,
right.
You know what? We're not talking about the email server, but how desperate do you have to be to try to change the conversation if that's the case, and you do it this way?
I don't know.
Very desperate. You don't want to go to jail.
Ask you a question about the whole plastic surgery thing. Isn't straightening teeth, like getting braces as a teenager, the #1 plastic surgery? I mean, that's not plastic surgery.
Considered plastic
cosmetic surgery?
It's not considered. No? It's not. #1 is nose jobs.
Because I bet you if you threw in braces, that's probably
to fix deviated septums.
Right, exactly. But no, but
Stop it,
need braces.
That's medical.
It's true, right?
Yeah, no, but it's not cosmetic.
Oh, I know so many girls are like, oh, I have a deviated septum. Sure you do.
They don't even know what it is.
Wow. I didn't go to high school with a lot of people who got, unless I was oblivious to it. I didn't notice a lot of plastic surgery.
For Biden to run?
I did.
You know, I think what Hillary is doing, what Hillary Clinton is doing right now, and the polling tends to show this, she's leaning where she knows she can lean hard, and that's to get people angry at the other side. And she knows that if she can get, like, the RNC press secretary to respond automatically to a comment of hers on stage in Cleveland, then she knows she's gotten some attention and she can buy back some goodwill within her own party as being the person who can take the message and run with the message.
Well, and as you mentioned on the chat, Harris, the very sage viewer who wrote she's dusting off the old trivial
tonic, yep.
Dusting that little.
No, she's wiping it with a cloth, actually.
Yes, she's wiping
by
it with
the way,
a cloth.
by the way,
Dr. Siegel.
Line of the
this whole thing
day.
started with Bill Clinton. You know, Bill Clinton. Meanwhile, the Clinton machine rolls on, so you could never count her out. I mean, no matter what is happening, no matter what the trajectory.
Where has he been, by the way? Is he in like the secret witness husband protection program? So good to have you back, Dr. Siegel.
Thanks, Dr. Siegel.
Wonderful.
Doctor,
Good timing with all that we had going on today.
you.
We appreciate your medical expertise.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Thank you
so
so
much.
Doctor.
Yes.
Great
All
to
right,
have
the
you.
TV version of us tomorrow at noon Eastern, and thanks for signing on to the live chat. We feel the love, baby.
Oh, my God.